My mic's not working. There it is. Hi, guys. So much technical issue. Anyways, how are you guys doing? How is everyone? I asked what this conversation is going to be about, and what I heard is distractions to derail you. So, be ready. Be ready. I'm going to make this quick. I started my day super late today. Super late. Super duper late. All right. Okay. Lot of energies today. What's the date? Question: do you guys think that they're really going to ban TikTok, or do you think it's going to stay up? I think it's going to stay up. I think worst case scenario, it'll be taken down momentarily. Okay. And then it's going to come right back up. Yeah, I don't think it'll be forever either. I think it's to create frenzy. I think that, it's going to be something along the lines of people are going to get scared. Oh no, someone big and rich is going to get legal action involved, and then they're going to restore the access, and then we're just going to carry on with life. I think there's a lot of distractions. I think there's a lot of distractions. It makes for a good conversation, though. It does. Okay, makes sense. Okay, yes. Okay, so right off the bat, intensification. Someone's eating Starburst. Stop. Strawberry Starburst, the pink one. That's so good. You guys eat good stuff while you watch me. Anyways, intensification. There's a lot of things that are intensifying right now. I just feel like everything that's happening is just, it is what it is. It is what it is. And so you need to allow it to intensify while you ground yourself. Don't involve yourself in what's intensifying if it doesn't resonate with you. Okay. A lot of the things that are happening right now absolutely does not resonate with me. And so I'm going to stay out of it. My lips feel super chapped all of a sudden. So, whatever's intensifying, just let it do whatever it does. Make sure. Oh, that's lovely, Shalimar. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. I judge you tarot readers according to the Bible, yet you're here in this environment, exposing yourself to the demonics of the world. What's that say about you? Right? What's that say about you? Give me 1 second, guys. La 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 la. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is, I'll never leave you. Yeah. God hates hateful people. Yeah. Ain't that something? Right? You're doing the work of the devil. So let's just go ahead and really quick. I mean, I could bust out quotes from the Bible. Quotes, not scripture. Quotes from the Bible. Yeah. It's one of those things. Anyways, it's a distraction for real. So ground yourself, right? You guys see right there that there is this attempt to try and intensify, try and elicit some type of response, elicit some type of something. But how does it actually work? You're in control. You're in full control. So, what's going to have to happen? You're going to have to ground your energy into the soil of what you're trying to grow. There's no point in sowing the seeds if you're not going to water and nurture those seeds. If you're going to allow the attempt to scorch your soil, the seeds won't grow. So you need to do something to really get you centered in whatever it is you're trying to create, right? People who have the power and authority on earth, those people who think they do, they tend to be demonic. Anyways, don't allow any of that caca to be brought home into your space. Homecoming in reverse. No, leave it outside. Like, leave it all the way outside and don't allow it to be anything that really pulls your energy. Sometimes you'll need to acknowledge some of the things. Most times you can just completely ignore it, keep it moving, keep it flowing, and make big things happen. I'm going to declare something right now. What should I declare? What should I declare? I declare that this will be the most productive, most lucrative year of my entire life. I like that. I declare this will be the most productive, most lucrative year in my entire life. And in that statement, what I'm doing is I am giving myself permission to put as much effort into building what I want, bring it to full fruition and building it all the way up. And on top of that, I'm giving myself permission to receive the abundance I am working for. Ain't that something lovely? Ain't that something lovely? To allow yourself to receive the benefits, receive the abundance that you have rightfully earned. You're rightfully earning things, but then you are denying yourself the ability to receive what you have earned. The foundation has been upside down in this world for as long as humans have existed. As long as humans have existed. For example, people who proclaim to speak in the name of God, in the name of Jesus, they proclaim hatred. They proclaim division. They proclaim all kind of ugliness, ugly, ugly, ugly. And they would attack those who are promoting unification in our diversity. They would hate those who they don't understand simply because those they don't understand cannot be easily controlled or cajoled. Oops. Oops. See, that's not how it works. When we don't allow, when we truly give ourselves full control and authority over strictly just ourselves, that does not violate any sovereign, divine laws, that honors them all. So, what will you allow? What will you disallow? Where will you send your energy to feed and grow whatever you're sending it to? For me, I'm allowing my energy and I'm instructing my energy to be brought to the places that I have promised on a soul level to occupy, to cultivate, to bring and present to the entirety of the world. I give myself permission to make that happen this year. And I give myself permission to receive the appropriate degree of compensation for the level of integrity, the level of effort, and the level of relief I provide people across the globe. And yes, I may play small most of the time. It's true. It's true. My approachable nature, because I'm down to earth, this is just who I am. It actually has a tendency to cause people to assume, especially the toxic ones, cause people to assume that they can present themselves to me, impress upon me their limited awareness, and force me to comply with their belief that they have some type of authority over me. Oh, you're so silly. You don't. What now? I'll tell you what. Not a damn thing I don't approve for myself in my journey. Not a damn thing that I don't approve in advance. The only things I will approve are the things that I promised on a soul level. And the more those who seek to trigger, those who seek to derail, diminish, degrade, the more you present yourself to me, the more fuel you give me for my rise. I'm already globally known. And it doesn't seem like it. But across all my platforms, if you look at my analytics, I'm actually globally known. And I have been for quite a few years. You will not stop me. You will not shut me up. There was this phrase that played in my head to the degree that I had to write it down. I will not shut up until my soul is done saying what it came here to say. Woe is the fool who tries to put their hand before my mouth to try and shut me up. I'll bite the fucking shit out of you. I look passive, but I'm not. So you do whatever needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done. And don't feel bad about it. Unless you're intending to harm someone, which is not a good thing. Defending yourself is not the same as intending to harm someone. But Emmy, you just said you might bite people. No, I said if you place your hand in front of my mouth to shut me up, I might bite you because of the fact that is, no, you don't do that. I will defend myself. I will protect myself. There's nothing wrong with protecting yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. So these things that seek to derail you, you don't need to change it. You don't need to waste your time trying to convince those who don't have the capacity. Not everyone has the same level of intelligence or integrity. I'm not about like the, oh, we have to include everyone. I believe that everyone has to find where they feel at home. Rather than feeling entitled to all spaces and all people, there will be spaces where I will not be welcome. You don't have to include me. When I'm not welcome somewhere, that means you're not my people. That's not my space. I keep it moving. I keep it moving. Wasting your time to try and force the things that are unnatural to begin with. Like, it's unnatural for me to be around people who are intentionally hurtful to others. It's very unnatural for me to comfortably exist and assimilate myself into environments that are outright toxic. I'm not that kind of person. That rubs me the wrong way. I can't be around those people. I just can't. But Emmy, you can heal them. Oh, I'm sure I can. But will I? No, they have a right to exist in the way they choose. Just like I have a right to determine whether or not I will use my abilities for your benefit or not. You have to begin seeing your place in your life in some type of similar fashion. You're not here to save people from who they are. That is a waste of time. Why? Because you're godly? Well, you do have aspects of God that fuel your bio machine called the body. It's a fragment of your soul. Are you God? No, absolutely not. No, no, you're a portion of God. So then what do we need to do? Focus on our growth and our healing. You need to heal the part of you that feels like you have to project your healing process onto others, because really that's what's happening. When you are seeing things as though you have to heal someone, that it's your job to save someone. No, babe, what's happening is you're refusing to acknowledge that you need to save yourself. Instead, you wait for someone else to save you while you use your energy and your time that was supposed to be to correct that distorted belief. And you project it onto others because you don't want to deal with your own stuff. You have to now. Now's the time to begin doing that, because guess what? The next part of our existence is here. It's time. It's time for you to enter into a space of your existence where you cannot be easily controlled, easily manipulated, where you don't buy into the official story. Instead, you take a step back and you look and you question, what's really happening here? I see what they're showing, I hear what they're saying, but there's something that's being left kind of covertly hidden. Do I need to be involved in this? Is this something that directly affects me? Is this something that I need to be a part of the correction? Right? How do you even heal an emotion or a belief? The first part of healing, and it doesn't matter what you're healing, is to first assess the wound. Most people don't want to see the wound. They'll pack it with dirt, then bandage it and put it on the shelf. You have to be able to see exactly what the wound is. Is it a laceration? How deep does it go? Is it a puncture wound? Is it simply an abrasion? Because these are all dealt with in different ways. Trying to apply a broad spectrum application on something that's very specified, very, very specific, very specialized, that's a recipe for failure. That's a recipe for failure. I teach this in my certification program. You can't apply a broad thought onto something. You have to know what you're dealing with. Once you know the root of what you're dealing with, you can then begin to select the appropriate tools, the appropriate approach, the depth that you must go. Let me see these other schools of thought, these things that people are taught in regards to energy work. You do X, Y, and Z, your client should be good. They'll feel the energy, they'll be good. Maybe on the surface level. Sometimes what appears to be just a pimple is actually a tunneling abscess, and you don't know how far it has spread. Ain't that something? But if you can see beneath the surface, because it goes deep at this point, you'll be able to see how much infection, how much of a void has been created only to be filled with infection and spread. If you want to heal, you have to take a good look at what you're trying to heal. Is it an emotion? Is it a mindset or belief? Those are healed in different ways. Yes, they're interconnected, but they're healed in different ways. When you enter into the physicality, a need for physical healing, that also ties to the intellectual, the mental, as well as the emotional. But you need to have another aspect of the healing involved. So you will not heal to the degree that you want to until you address all of the needs. And you cannot do that until you find the courage to look at what's happening. I'm assisting someone with a tooth extraction, right? They've kind of been going through it. They were in a lot of pain, like debilitating pain. And then they finally reached out. And so I'm assisting, I'm assessing, and I'm like, okay, what I'm seeing is that they have dry socket. The blood clot that forms to protect that area, that open wound, it's come out somehow. So they have a dry socket. I'm also seeing partial infection setting in. I'm seeing the inflammatory response within the mandible because of the fact that it's close to a specific nerve that goes down and feeds this region. That inflammation is triggering the nerve. It's compressing the nerve, causing amplification of pain. Is it as simple as you need to go get antibiotics? It'll take a while. Take 3-4 days. And you would have to make sure you're taking the antibiotics to the T. Actually, if you don't megadose those antibiotics, meaning knowing what the maximum dosage is in a 24-hour period and being able to safely administer that to yourself. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm aware of these things. You can push it slightly beyond, but it depends on your system. So using it in accordance with the prescription directions, it will probably take about 5-6 days for the pain relief. Doing it in the way that I would do it, it would take about 2 to 3 days, but that would require mega dosing and you probably get the runs. It'll kill off all of your gut microbiome, but also kill that. Or you can go ahead and allow me to work on it. It would contain it. Draw all the infection back in, contain it. You have to follow my instructions. And then megadose on natural flora, which doesn't have as much of a devastating effect on your gut microbiome, depending on how it's taken. And then add an additional topical broad spectrum biocide. You get it inside, you get it through the bloodstream, everything gets caught. And then I would also address the nerve through sedation, light sedation, so you can still speak. Light sedation. I did this for the client. They'd been in severe pain for a week, 2 weeks. Next morning, they woke up pain-free. And then I checked on them again yesterday. They were in slight pain. I said, okay, continue with the protocol. And then I'm going to do a nerve block. It's a simple nerve block. There's a nerve that comes down. It branches out onto the teeth. Nerve block up high. Sedate this whole area just enough so there's no pain. Not too much that they think they're all better and begin to overwork their body again. Client's good. You apply that. That logic of addressing it from so many different angles, your pain, you'll have tremendous healing. Oil pulling is not suggested if you've extracted a tooth, because that can be the very causation of losing that blood clot and getting dry socket. Dry socket is extremely painful because it exposes not just the bone, but the nerve endings. So no oil pulling, nothing where you are creating suction within the mouth at all. Gently swish, roll your mouth around like this so it gets all around. No vigorous swishing. What you want is to create a coating of broad spectrum biocide. And these are all very cheap things. I would say $40. And that would last you. That'll last you. That $40 investment in flora could potentially last you for, so you would get like 90 capsules. You would only need to do it for maybe about a week, 3 times a day. So that's 21. That would last you quite a while. Might not even have to do it for a week. That's only if it's like really severe. The things that we learn to do are things that don't fully address to the degree that we need to address the things that are trying to derail your progress. It doesn't fully address it. I had reduced range of motion in my femur. Why? Because I worked out too much. I didn't stretch. So does that mean I just stretch? Well, yeah, of course I need to. Does that mean I just need to rest? Of course I need to. Does that mean I need to properly nourish my body so those micro tears have the appropriate things that are necessary to rebuild the tissue and fortify it? Hypertrophy. Of course, I need to. Well, that's all I need to do? No, I need to flush the fascia. Slap on the recovery boots, flush the fascia, address it, fully address it. I do all that plus the stretching, dynamic stretching, static stretching, all of these different things, right? All of these different things. What happens? I regain, I restore my proper full range of motion. Does that mean I'm going to go hammer out something, work out real hard again the next day? No. I need to rest. No, not that part. Not that part. I need to rest. I need to take it easy. But I promise you, when I do go back to work out those muscle groups, oh, they're going to be like, let's do it. We're stronger, right? What's an example of broad spectrum biocide? Grapefruit seed extract. It's a broad spectrum biocide, meaning it addresses fungal. It's antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial, I said fungal, bacterial, viral, all of those. Grapefruit seed extract. But you have to be careful because if you're taking certain types of medications, because it does come from grapefruit, which is contraindicated for certain things like verapamil, which is a blood pressure medication. So certain things, they're not compatible. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to really check for any contraindications for specific types of comorbidities that are existing. So that's when you bring someone like me in, and I can give you this information. And as you experience things and we work together and you learn how your body can receive that type of flora, then you're increasing your knowledge and you won't have to work with me all the time. Because if you get sick like that again, like, oh, okay, I just need to do this, this, and this, and I'm all good again. And then I don't have to be involved, right? So if you don't know how to heal, you need to seek someone who can actually give you the appropriate pathway of healing, give you an awareness of the appropriate pathway of healing. And a lot of the things that we are seeing and taking in as our truth, taking in as the only way to do it, these are things that create unnecessary compounding of complexity for your pain. Because then you begin to dissociate. You begin to disavow those parts of you. You reject it, creating a void. And that void where that part of you used to exist and you pushed it out because society doesn't give you permission to be that way. That's a nice little house for something parasitic to slither right into. You should not be ashamed of any part of yourself and anything you've been through. That is your history. That is your history. That is the very process that you had to go through to learn all of these very important things that you need to learn in order for you to prepare for the proper spiritual purpose that you came into this life to fulfill. How do you feel about the major disclosure event? Hegelian dialectic. Hegelian dialectic. This planetary space is phase locked. Stargates are shut down. They cannot get out. They cannot come in. They are watching from beyond the firmament. Only the ones who have already existed here are the ones that are here, meaning they are indigenous to this earth plane. We are the foreign invading species. The humans, we are the foreign invading species. So, disclosure event. It's supposed to happen today or tomorrow, right? Hegelian dialectic. So, card number 23, defend to the end the worthwhile. You are worth defending. When you come across people who are trying to convince you that having the standards and the boundaries that you have are inappropriate, those people have made it clear they are an inappropriate occupier of your space. Oh, Oh, shit. So if someone's telling me that I'm inappropriate, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing that. But I'd like to remind you, you're inappropriately occupying my space and my time. And I would like for you to kindly go away. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hey, I'm just saying. Follow your own rhythm. You got to follow what your soul is setting for you. You got to allow yourself to really feel, because you can feel when the something's not right, something's misaligned, something is like off. What do you feel? But it's in reverse. So this is confirming that you're not allowing yourself to receive the confirmations from your own soul. I don't know what you need. I can only share what is, kind of brought into my awareness by my soul, excuse me, for my own path. So, what I'm sharing with you guys is my personal beliefs. I'm sharing with you my personal opinions. What am I trying to say by those statements? That it's up to you if you're going to give my personal stance more validity than your own. I don't get a say in that. So, how do you determine if what I'm telling you is more valid than what you're currently believing? How does it resonate? Is it triggering you? Are you the type to get triggered when you realize you've been betrayed, bamboozled, hoodwinked? Because, I mean, that's a very common thing, realizing that you kind of bought into something. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying, is this your experience? Like, holy shit, I didn't think of it that way. Oh my God, now it makes sense. Okay, so then maybe it's something that is helping you to better process what needs to be processed. Notice how I'm not saying, okay, then I'm right. No, maybe that's a component that you needed as part of what you're already processing. You are always the only one in control of your thoughts, of your beliefs, of your healing process, of your progression through that. You are always the only one in control. You are the only one in control of that. Okay? Realize the degree of power you have over yourself. I've had so many people try and dominate me and try and like dictate shit to me. And I'm like, no, now what? Oh, you're going to force me. Ah, okay, go ahead, try. You go ahead and try. You just go, try it. Are you threatening me? No, I'm telling you, you're going to do whatever you want to do. You go ahead and try. I'm not going to cooperate though. I'm not. And if you don't know me very well, we're both probably going to get lots of boo-boos and owies. Except I have an extremely high pain tolerance. And I mean, I don't know. Physical pain makes my brain go, ah. So, I mean, you know, you're not going to get your way. I can tell you that much. I don't know what we'll both experience, but I'm pretty sure at the end of it, I'm going to be like, I told you, motherfucker, I still didn't do it. You guys are so much stronger than you ever give yourself credit for. Like, so much stronger. So much stronger. You have to start giving yourself credit. You have to. New birth, guarded vigilantly. So, what a lot of people don't realize is when you go through your process and you level up, you're going to be extremely vulnerable for a short period. And the reason for that vulnerability is because you're unfamiliar with this new space. It's like you lived in a shanty town, right? Um, which a lot of people do in the world. A lot of people live in these smaller towns that are heavily populated, a lot of poverty, a lot of hardship, and you live in a shack in a shanty town. And then there's something amazing that happens with your abundance. And now you can afford to move to like suburbia. Some would say that's an upgrade. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Shanty towns have a depth of community. I don't know. There's hardship, but like the depth of community in those smaller, impoverished spaces, you can't have that in suburbia. The give and take, right? So it's a different way of existing. So now you've moved to suburbia. You've leveled up. And I don't know if it's a level up, but some people will think it's a level up. Do you know where the grocery stores are? You know what the social norms are? You know, it's not okay to leave like broken down vehicles in your driveway. There's HOA. They're going to tell you that you need to maintain your grass. And you're like, that's a waste of water. No, but you live here now. There's a new set of rules. You're going to need to take some time to acclimate to the new set of rules. You're going to feel very vulnerable. Like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, you can't leave your trash can outside for more than like 3 hours after the garbage guy comes to pick it up. Oh no, you can't leave it outside of your fence. It has to be covered. But no one has fences. I lived in places like I'm just like, motherfucker, like I can't stay here. I can't stay here. Y'all are too fucking much. Y'all are too fucking much. Too much. Too much. You drive around all fucking day looking at people's properties. That's too much for me. One time we stayed on a farm. We were just renting. We stayed on a farm that had some acreage, like acres. But for some reason, the owner covered like 2 acres worth in rocks. Why would you do that? So we had to pull all those weeds out, and it was a very fertile, very, very lush soil. And so weeds were growing like crazy. And then at one point, the open part, because you're supposed to be able to like have farm animals, the open part, which I think is like an acre, the weeds got to the height of my husband's hips. And you know, I was like, fuck that. Do they have a right to live? And then HOA would drive around a couple times a week and be like, oh, your grass. Motherfucker, it's not grass, it's weeds. You want me to mow that? Yes. You can just mow it down and make it look like grass, right? But here's the thing. I digress. When you enter into a new space, you're going to have vulnerabilities. You're going to experience extreme vulnerability because you don't know how it operates. That's okay. You acclimate. You acclimate. However long it takes for you to get comfortable and feel at home when you move to a new place, for those of you who have moved, I mean, that's probably how long you'll need to get comfortable in your new space of existence within yourself. Okay. Oh my God, Tammy. I can't even have trees in my suburbia. That is not all that. The town made us cut them all down. That is insane. That's insane. Why no trees? Trees are friends. Trees are friends. Okay, relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. It's in reverse. So there's a lot of dark things trying to be pushed forward during this period. Let them do their dark things outside of your space. Don't allow it in. Don't give it too much time. Don't give it too much of your mental space. Don't get caught up in what they're trying to get you caught up in. Visions of life beyond death. Whatever it is that you need to focus on, they're going to give, that proverbial, they are going to give you this sense of impending doom, impending this, impending that, to get you focused on the negative, hoping that your focus on the negative will then become the totality of your experience. No, absolutely not. You know, one time this is where I actually bought a house. We bought our first house, and I didn't know they had HOA, or I would have never moved there. We found out like 3 months after we moved in. And I was going to try and be belligerent and be like, I'm not paying it. I don't give a shit. And they're like, oh, that's fine. I asked. They're like, oh, you need to back pay the X amount of months. I was like, oh, hell, I'm not paying shit. I didn't sign shit. And they said to me, that's fine. And I was like, what happens if I don't pay it? And they said, oh, we'll just put a lien on your property. I was like, I'm sorry. We'll put a lien on your property and the amount will continue to compound. I'm sorry, what? And then she said, yes. And then eventually we'll want our money. So what we'll do is we'll foreclose on your home. I was like, you can't do that. And they're like, yes, it's part of the covenant. Oh, where do I write the check? Shopping, that's just so quick, right? So that's how I found out I was living in an HOA neighborhood. Well, one of the neighbors, we became close with him, and he was like, yeah, HOA, blah, 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 always walk around like creepers and they look for things to be pissed about and fine you for, like a lot of things. They literally walk around. And so I didn't know that you're not supposed to keep your barbecue, your like bougie barbecue thingy in your front patio area because our backyard wasn't done. But we don't keep the kids' toys or anything out. It's just the barbecue thing is there and you can't really see it. No one really sees it. And then I didn't know, but one of the other gals who lived very close to us, she became close with me too. She really just loved me. And I was like, what's up, girlfriend? She was on the HOA and she was the one walking around reporting everyone. But she never reported me. She told me one time, hey, I don't know if you should leave that there. You might get fined. I was like, you think? I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. She goes, oh. I said, yeah, we try and make sure that we keep everything else very nice and tidy. And we just really, I don't want to put that in the garage. Our backyard's not yet done. She goes, oh, okay. And then our other guy neighbor comes over. He goes, how come you haven't gotten fined for this? And I was like, for what? And he's like, you're not supposed to have that. I'm surprised so-and-so. He talks about the neighbor that really likes me and has our kids play together. I'm surprised she hasn't reported you. She's the one that reports everyone. I was like, oh, never. She's the sweetest. He goes, really? And I said, uh-huh. She likes me. And he goes, oh, she reports me all the time. I was like, I guess she don't like you. If you stay focused on whatever it is, I mean, I don't know. That's how my life works. That's how my life works. I'm exempt from most things. Why? Because I'm not focused on the negative. I'm like, none of that shit's happening to me. Why is it not happening to you? Because I don't got time for that. I'm not going to worry about that. And it just doesn't happen to me. It happens to everyone else, but it won't happen to me. Because why? Because all of my energy for my life and my experiences are being hogged up by the good things in life. By the good things in life. Yeah. I should have complained about the broker. I should have. Yeah, it was my narcissistic sibling who was my realtor. He couldn't be bothered by anything. So, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Okay, so the word wants to be written, it's in reverse. This means keep all of your plans quiet. Okay. I wish I knew you back in like 2000, Meryl. I wish I knew you back in 2000. Anyways. So I didn't go through my relative to sell the house. I went through an actual realtor. I hate they use supposed people too. Well, actually, no. Sometimes it works in our benefit to have people who know all the rules, look deeply into the rules, and properly and genuinely advise you, like, it's not worth the risk. I remember a couple of years ago when we were doing the in-person bread sales for the sanctuary, our church. Our venue closed down. They decided not to do the event that weekend because of weather or something like that. And we had already baked all of these breads to sell at the farmer's market. And I was like, I'm just going to go in a parking lot. I'm just going to go in a parking lot. I'm going to sling bread from the car. And, and hey, my team was like, no, you need to get permission to do those type of things from the city, because now you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the church and a nonprofit organization. So you can't just be all like, gung ho and like wild, wild west everywhere you go. Which they're absolutely right. If I'm just representing myself, that's one thing. But if I'm representing a full-on organization, I want to preserve the integrity of that, right? I want to protect the public interest that the church is starting to create. So, yeah, no, sometimes it's appropriate. It's appropriate for people to let that some of these rules you actually do have to abide by it. But when it comes to my personal life, it's just like, no. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You have to have context. Context. I think for many of us, we don't have context as to what are the distractions and how it's going to serve to derail us. You need to pay attention, okay? Perception. For many of us, we're going based off of perception when you should really be using perspective. What's the difference between the two? They are not interchangeable. First and foremost, they are not interchangeable. Perspective uses filters from your limited vantage point. You're typically using the filters that are formed during times of trauma and extreme stress. So your view of things are going to be very distorted. Okay? When you're going based off of perspective, you're going based on your positioning, how you can see things. If you get higher on that mountain, you can see even more. Right? So these are things that we need to kind of pay attention to. Are we basing it off of perception? This is your personal point of view or perspective, what you've learned, filtered through the knowledge and wisdom of your soul. Right? There's a difference. There's a difference. You'll come across people who will say they know how to do something and they really don't. And then there's people who clearly you observe them and their capacity to do something successfully. So one of my kids had a consultation recently for an oral surgeon, right? Something to do with his braces and trying to get everything just properly situated and, take out the wisdom teeth. And our orthodontist was the one who referred us to this office. And so the surgeon says during the consult, "Oh, how do you like Dr. So-and-so's office?" And I was like, "We love it. It's amazing. I like rave reviews." And the surgeon says, "Oh, why?" And he asked me if I work there. No, sir, I don't work there. Because he was wondering why I was like hyping up this doctor. And I looked at him and I immediately responded, because it's very, very obvious that he has such a high degree of competency for his chosen field of expertise. He knows what he's doing. And that doctor was like, I said, yeah, you can tell he knows the ins and outs, the probability, and how to address potential negative side effects. Absolutely. You see, I don't look for the marketing. They have phenomenal marketing at the orthodontist office. Phenomenal. He chose the appropriate staff, right? They're just so friendly. Like you just feel at home. But that's not why we chose him. It wasn't the staff. It wasn't the marketing. It wasn't the branding of his company. And he has people flying in from out of state to continue their orthodontic treatment. It wasn't because of any of that. It was because when I brought all of my children in for their consultation, his degree of knowledge and expertise, his experience, and his confidence in his ability to modify any circumstance to achieve the desired result. It was very clear. There was no shadiness, there was nothing hidden. You just know. When you speak to this orthodontist, you just know. Stick with those kind of people. Stick with those kind of people, right? And then there will be people, so there was a circumstance. So they have a primary dentist, and then they have the orthodontist, and then there's the maxillofacial oral surgeon. And it's like, there was a situation where we were presented another option because it was for my other child. He needs comprehensive work using Invisalign and I don't know what else. So the other office, another office, who's also exceptional work, but they're not orthodontists. They were offering another option because I love that office. They were saying that the other option, which is a comparable treatment plan, could save me between $1,000 to $2,000. Between $1,000 to $2,000. That's a lot of fucking money. Oh. And I was like, you know what? Are we paying just to get it over with, or are we paying to properly correct and not have to have a second course of treatment? What are we paying for? I will pay the extra $1,000 or $2,000 for my child to get elevated expert advice and treatment. And it's not to put down the other office. The other office is cosmetic dentistry. They're fucking phenomenal, but they're not orthodontists. So everything else, I'll absolutely go to that office. Orthodontic stuff, I will absolutely go to this orthodontist. Any maxillofacial surgical stuff, I will absolutely go to that surgical team. All of this. Yes, I'm going to you for your specialty. Whatever you charge, if you have that elevated degree of expertise, competency within your chosen field of specialty, it's worth it, because that's a lessened likelihood of undesirable results. Of course, you can't control everything, but should something undesirable happen, you have the experience and the competency, the training and the competency to mitigate whatever happens that's unexpected. And my teeth, not my teeth, my children's teeth, they got some extra teeths. They got teeth parties happening. I'm just like, holy fucking shit. How did your tooth get all the way over there? What the fuck? Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. If we allow ourselves to kind of consistently penny pinch and be cheap with ourselves, and it's not about spending money all the time, but if we're constantly just looking for the best deal, are you getting the best care? Is that what you do to yourself? You penny pinch your own self-care. And I'm absolutely guilty of this, because the reason we even found these offices, because I've been needing dental work badly for a couple years now. And instead, I'm doing my entire family's dental work. And I'm sitting here like, I'm just going to wait a little bit because I'm just going to have to wait a little bit, So many of us do this. Many of us do this, and it's very common, but just because it's common doesn't mean it's appropriate, right? We do this with our emotional health. We do this with our mental health, our physical health, all of these things. So I'll have a very common response from people like, oh my God, that what do you call it? That supplement is so expensive. Okay. It is. It is. But will it work? Better than anything you could possibly try. Yeah. Okay. Then you kind of need to spend that on yourself. You kind of need to. Because the other option, I don't know. I don't know, right? You take a look at the work that I do. In the past, years past, I've had people who have been like, they need an extraction. My extractions are not cheap. So, it's an investment. And either they won't have the funds or they'll be like, oh, I can't justify spending that. I completely understand. I'm not going to try and sell you on anything. And then one person in particular that comes to mind, they came back to me a couple years later and they were like, you were right. The area that you pointed out where I had the latch point, you said it was going to begin to distort cellular code expression. I just got diagnosed with cancer there. Okay, so the couple $100 for the extraction or the many thousands plus the trauma of oral cancer treatment? We don't know. We can't guarantee what will happen. We can't guarantee what will happen. But if something resonates deeply, like, I need to get this done, you have to listen to that. This is why we work with people. We have payment plans. So that way it's not a matter of like, you can't come up with the whole amount. You pay what you can. And when it's done, then we schedule it, right? You have to be willing to invest in yourself for things that are necessary, things that are necessary. I can only let you know the information I'm given, but I will always, always, always respect your process in deciding whether or not it's something you want to do, whether it resonates with you, all of that. Okay. So, stretch and specialization. Some of you are going to have to stretch your level of awareness of yourself and what you are actually specialized to do, right? What you are actually specialized to do. For some others, you need some space to begin rectifying your awareness of your perspective. Because there was the other card. Where are you? Where are you? Right here, right? Perception and perspective. It's a good thing to look at them together, right? Perception, we think, oh, we're using our third eye and this and that, but really all of that information is first being filtered through your trauma, earlier life experience. Excuse me. Whereas perspective is through soul. You're looking at it from the bigger picture. For some of us, we will allow ourselves to look at it from the bigger picture. And for others of us, we're so zoomed in, we kind of put on blinders and we're not able to see how our decisions right now is really closing the space in on us and further limiting us. Your expectation is being realigned right now by your soul. I don't know in what way, but whatever it is that I'm sharing, whatever it is that I'm talking about, it's being realigned. You need to be gentle with yourself, and sometimes in being gentle, you need to allow yourself to disappoint people who have unrealistic expectations of you, unrealistic demands. Oh, that's what that's about. I became aware of something recently, and it was a very misaligned expectation. And I was kind of just sitting on, like, what is the appropriate way forward? It's not a horrible situation. It's just an awareness, right? And I was wondering actually recently, very, very recently, I was wondering, like, should I just kind of write it out and then mitigate if something does occur? And I came to a realization, this is a high likelihood of a repeat of certain types of circumstance that I've had before. And so I think I'm not going to write that out. I don't think I need to experience it just to confirm I've already lived through this before. I don't need to live through it again. So my expectation of myself, trying to accommodate all sorts of things that everything in my intuition says, you should not. Okay, soul, I get the message. And I will not be participating or accommodating a repeat of any of my cycles. Distractions to derail you. I think whatever inconveniences that are popping up, these are things that are distractions so that you don't notice something is dismantling the rails a mile ahead of the train you're in. Oh, Lord. We need to be aware. As individuals, we need to allow ourselves to be aware. Okay. Alrighty. So, guys, I want to share with you, and I need to reach out to them and see how I can send it. We were able to raise something like $415 for that community member. I want to thank everyone for how generous you've been. For those who don't know, this community member is someone who's facing eviction, and I was not told by my heart that it was mine or our community's place to try and halt the eviction, as unfortunate as that is. But it was put upon my heart to ask our community to come together and go ahead and try and raise some money for groceries. So as we go, as they go through the process, whatever their process is, they'll at least not have to worry about whether they'll be able to eat. And, hopefully they have family or trusted friends that they can stay with. But we were able to raise, I believe it was $415 and something cents. I believe it was that. So I was just waiting for the funds to deposit into the church account so then I could go ahead and send it over to that community member. And I don't do this very often. I try not to because, our community members do have their own things that they have to take care of, their own financial obligations. But I'm really proud of our community. I'm really proud of us, how we come together. And when it resonates, you guys come out and support not just me, but our community. So right after this, I'm heading over to our sanctuary. This is not just a community space. This is where our church congregation gathers. It's a sacred space and a very protected space. It's an exclusive spot. We don't just allow anybody into it. As part of a thank you for congregation members who have a recurring contribution, they donate on a monthly basis, certain levels of donation. You get certain levels of access. If you are not part of the sanctuary yet, you should. It's a very, very beautiful space where we talk about a lot of hard-hitting things that affect us on a personal level, things that affect the collective. Just so much depth of conversation has happened there. And in that conversation, the opportunities for clarity, for healing, all those really beautiful things. So in order to join us there, click on the QR code or the link in the comment, and that will take you where you can sign up for a recurring contribution. If you're in the United States, please keep that receipt. Your recurring contribution receipt is a full-on donation to a church. It's an organized church. I'm not one of those social media people who say they have a church, but it's not an actually formed church. That's actually illegal. This is an actually formed nonprofit faith-based organization. And so you keep your receipt. It's a donation. It's not a membership. It's a donation. And you can claim that as a tax deduction on your taxes. So it's kind of just our way, giving that information is our way of thanking you for helping our church to continue to run. And no, the money doesn't go to me or my processors. It's processed by the church processors. So, it's been a frantic morning. I will see you guys over there if you're already part of the sanctuary. If you're not yet part of the sanctuary, there's still time for you to sign up. We're able to do video chat. We're able to do text chat. And you can even just stay silent if you want, if you just want to observe. Okay. It's always on Saturdays around 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but because I had such a late start today, I had to push it back. I'm actually now late. It's supposed to be at 9:45 that we meet. I'm like 2 minutes late. So it's always every Saturday. And if I'm not able to attend, like the sacredness of this space is just so profound for me. There's a way for you guys to speak with each other via Zoom. You could just automatically go in, and then that recording is loaded onto our private chat space where you can rewatch it. So you can rewatch all the videos. As long as there's nothing that makes it inappropriate to rewatch, like something energetic happened or someone shared something that was like very, very personal and private to them, out of respect for their privacy, I won't load it. Because we talk about really, really deep things in there. It's really a space where a lot of people have been able to process some of the traumas and then move forward in their healing. So it's a really sacred space. All right, guys, I gotta go. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. Join me when I'm live. And if they take TikTok down temporarily, find me on YouTube. That's actually my home platform. I'm Emmy evolving across the board. As long as you can find my Hoobie link, HOO.be /Emmy evolving, you can find all my stuff.